Last time we left off, we were talking about chapter 1105, and so we're going to continue it. I read the chapter a few times, and I realized this chapter, not a lot actually happened, right? It was a lot happening, and then it was still just really not much. But we got to talk about the cliffhanger, where people are pulling up, but we don't know who the person is. I mean, it's typical One Piece shit, right? This is peak edging, I would say. Yeah. Anyway, who is it? Who's pulling up? I'm gonna go through my list of people that I've thought about, not only their locations currently, but their motive and who makes the most sense. Okay, so we're gonna add percentages to these characters. Who makes the most sense? Who makes the least sense? I'm talking about from like Gaimon to Kid. I'm kidding. So what I did is basically pull from all of the answers, or the most popular answers I saw, and then I placed them into percentages, okay? So we're gonna start with the 1%ers. These are the characters, or the people that I feel like they have the least % chance of showing up. And some of these, I couldn't believe they were actual answers, but people did say them. People did. So don't judge them. I did. You shouldn't. 1% is Yamato and Momo. What are we talking about? Yamato just said she didn't want to go with the crew. Momo is still training. Even if Yamato and Momo pull up, I agree. They both have insane AoE. They could destroy a bunch of marine ships, but you should just let them come with you. Like, it doesn't make sense for Yamato and Momo to pull up this soon. So they're in the 1% category for me. Next, we have Kid. I feel like people mention this as a joke, but I feel like I had to mention him because then it would be hating. And so people mentioned Kid, said that Kid somehow got a new ship, revitalized his crew, and traveled from Elbaf to Egghead to ask Luffy for help to get his poneglyphs back. Bro, the slander doesn't stop. I thought it was a serious comment. I really did. I was like, oh, okay. Really? So Kid is in the 1% for me. Another 1%er, Smoker. People were looking at the panel. They're like, yo, do you see that smoke? What if Smoker destroyed the marine ship to go help? Guys, I'm not gonna lie. I would be shocked if Smoker, the last time we saw him, he was basically going to train to be a better marine. And the first time you see him again is actually destroying a marine ship. I don't think it's Smoker, okay? I don't think it's Smoker. If this is Smoker's return, what are we doing? So those are the 1%ers. Let's go to the 2%ers. There's only one 2%er, and that's Law. What? Law just went through something traumatic, okay? He basically lost his entire crew. All he has is his bear with him, and I think they have to regroup, okay? I think running to Egghead after what happened is the last thing somebody like Law would do. Law, guys, he doesn't want to fight. Did you guys see what happened versus Blackbeard? He tried to run. Then after they turned him into a female, then he took it personal. He's like, no. You're not gonna do that to me. We know how they get treated in this story. Nah, kidding. But no, it's not Law. What do we, no. Now the 5%ers. At 5% I have Rayleigh and Shocky. I guess the comment was, Rayleigh's pulling up everywhere. Why not pull up on Luffy to help him in Egghead? Everyone saw the news. I'm not mad at it, but Rayleigh pulling up here isn't going to do much. Okay, Rayleigh could help, but Rayleigh and Shocky, it doesn't really, okay, I'm not gonna disrespect him and say it doesn't change much. However, for the large scale attack that it is, they just become victims as well. Of course, they're strong. They can help a lot, but it just doesn't make sense for what they need, in my opinion. Another 5%, this might be surprising to people, but Blackbeard. Guys, I don't think this is Blackbeard at all. Blackbeard has already been set up, or at least members of his crew, that's already been set up. To reiterate it here, I don't think it makes much sense. It's almost like people say Shanks went to the Gorosei to talk about Blackbeard. They already know you fat. I mean, they already know that he's a threat. So going and telling the Gorosei, yo, you should probably watch out for Blackbeard. They're like, dude, that's what you came here for? You came here to tell us that the man that stormed Marineford, got another devil fruit, said it was his age, and basically was fighting Sengoku and Garp at the same time, gets credit for killing Whitebeard. You're coming and telling us that we should worry. Get out. No, I don't think it's Blackbeard. Blackbeard just went through this bout with Law. He has bigger fish to fry. Like, he has things to prepare. Going to Hachinosu, seeing what's going on with Garp, and trying to make sense of things. That's why you have crew. That's why you have people that can help you, people that can aid you. Blackbeard is sending his underlings there, okay? I'm thinking Katarina Devon, Lafitte, maybe someone else. Moria is a dark horse, but there's no way. There's no way Blackbeard is going there. And why the heck would they save these people? They'd kidnap them as well. At this point, they want to be on the Marine side because a negotiation is going to happen really soon. Why would they say... It's not Blackbeard. It's not Blackbeard. I give it a 5% chance. The 10%ers, it's only one 10%er. Shanks. Shanks would be cool here. However, I think it'd be too close to what happened in Wano, where I think he lied about Barto and say, yo, we gotta go take care of Barto. It's like, bro, Barto's captain, or basically Barto's parent, right? The parent-child relationship. Barto's guy is right here. Go talk to him. Go talk to your guy about his guy. That's what I do. He's just not ready to see Luffy yet. It's not time. And so for him to pull up and save Luffy, and no, Luffy's the uncle. He can handle it himself. Let his people handle it. That is not Shanks' responsibility. That is not Shanks' responsibility. Shanks is not pulling up here. As cool as it would be, and it would really expedite the story, it's not Shanks. 10% chance though, 10% chance. 15% chance. Boa. This is one I didn't consider until I reread a few of the chapters, and I was like, okay, who makes sense? Who can pull up, who has a large fleet, who can actually do some damage, who actually wants to save Luffy? Well, we saw in the newspaper in chapter 1103, people are reading it, people are like, yo, this is a large scale attack. I don't know if they're gonna survive this. I can see Boa reading it and saying, yo, I gotta go help Luffy. He needs my help just like B.D.A. He's in trouble. But the reason why I give it such a low percentage, I guess it's large considering the other percentages for the other characters, but the reason why I give it such a lower percentage is because Boa just went through something, and leaving to fight Luffy's battle, even though her actual territory may be in jeopardy, I don't think it makes sense. It's just too soon. I think Rayleigh and Shockey actually stay there and somehow console Boa. There's too much going on. She has people to protect. I think she stays there until she can't anymore. Leaving those people, bringing a fleet to save Luffy, even though they're in trouble as well, I think she would lose her people. Like, okay, we understand that you love this man. We understand that you're pressed, right? We understand that you're sprung, but right now we got to worry about us. Let's make sure we're good before you go off and save your boy toy. Because that's what he is. How old are you, Boa? How old are you? We get to a higher percentage. The next percentage is 20%. And this is it's Dragon and the Revolutionaries. Yes, this would be probably the most hype, considering what we've been expecting for Dragon, and people that bought into the Dragon stock low, they could cash out, but I don't think it's time yet. Not saying it's too early in the story. It's just not Dragon's MO. This is a large scale attack on an island, basically a marine island. For Dragon to pull up here in a large scale war is basically exposing himself, and then you have to question every single action Dragon has done beforehand, because the most popularized attack, this is when you show yourself. If he does show up, it'll be him by himself or him and a few people. You thought I was going to say a few good men? Not with a large fleet to take out another large fleet. And so, yeah, I guess if Dragon shows up with Sabo and Karasu and some of those other guys, they could take out a large fleet while not basically being as seen, I suppose. But it just doesn't fit Dragon's MO to just show up and save someone. I mean, we saw what happened to Ginny. All the reports of what was going on with her in Marineford or Mary Joao got back to Dragon, and he said, well, game is game. So I don't think Dragon is coming to save Luffy here. It would be cool. It would be hype, but it also would completely destroy his character, in my opinion. Not time yet. Based on how the story's going, this isn't the best opportunity for Dragon to show up, I think. I'll say this, it is enough chaos going on with Dragon showing up. It would make it interesting because he wouldn't have enough time to really sit with Luffy, so they can meet each other, but it's not really a meeting. But no, not yet. I think this is the obvious choice. The one that I give a 40% chance is the Grand Fleet. The reason why the Grand Fleet has a 40% chance is that we know the Grand Fleet is going to do something. It's going to be a major event that they have an impact on. The jargon or the verbiage there is, it's a bit vague. You can take what you want from it. It's something that's mentioned in the story, and this is the largest scale attack we've seen in the story so far. What better time than now to bring in the Grand Fleet? You can kind of fulfill that obligation that you set out at the beginning of the story, not the beginning. In the time skip in Dressrosa, Parent and Child, you kind of get that out of the way, right? Because I'm sure for Oda, as an author, he's probably like, okay, at some point I have to make the Grand Fleet mobilize. And it can't necessarily be the final war, considering that's not an event that I think is going to be spearheaded by them. Right? In this event, they overcome it. It's basically Luffy and his fleet that can overcome this onslaught. We get to see some of our favorite characters again. Some may say, whoa, it's too soon. I'm like, yo, Dressrosa was a long time ago, okay? Not in the timing of things. Like Dressrosa, if I remember correctly, Dressrosa should have been like Whole Cake Island, 2 days, and Whole Cake Island was like 3 days, and Zo was like another 3 days, and sailing the Whole Cake Island was 2 weeks. Whole Cake Island for like a day, and like another 2 weeks to get territory. Then Wano was like 2 weeks, and then they stayed another week, and then they sailed to Egghead. It's been like a day, probably like 3 months. It's been like 3 months since Dressrosa, so it doesn't feel like a lot of time, but hey, it's past the probation date, right? Exceeded probation. Now it's time for them to be put to work. You know what I'm saying? Those are my percentages. I can go through them one more time. 1% Yamato and Momo, another 1% is Kid, another 1% Smoker, 2% Law, 5% Rayleigh and Shockey, 5% Blackbeard, 10% Shanks, 15% Boa, 20% Dragon and Revolutionaries, and 40%. Guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about the percentages? What would you change? What would you alter? That's just how I'm feeling about it right now. Maybe, as I reread different things, I might change how I feel, might update my percentages. Probably not. But yeah, give me your thoughts, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one.